Veve NFTs are no longer selling out in 0.1 of a second, and this is maybe the first time this has happened since October or so. So should this worry you? Should we be concerned with everything that's going on, or is there more to it than meets the eye? Let's talk about it. Welcome everyone, my name is Andy and I appreciate taking some time out of your day to come and watch this video on the channel. Just before we get going, if you are enjoying the content and you want to support me further, you can hit a subscribe button, and if you want to support me further than that, you can join the membership. Alright, so most of you who have been on Veve will probably know by now that the drops haven't been selling out the same way they used to. This could be for a multitude of reasons. There's people who are now leaving the app, there's people who are not really participating in the drops anymore because they've spent all their money on things that they'd purchased previously. They've dealt with bots a little bit more. Bots aren't going for these drops because it might not sort of satisfy what they're going for because they're purely looking for profit, so maybe they've not been a part of them. There's a lot of reasons maybe as to why this has been the case. I think Matt Gaden's drop took maybe about 30-40 minutes to completely sell out the other day, but then again, that's still over $1 million's worth in sales from these drops alone that have just happened, and they still managed to sell out in under an hour, which to me, and consistently doing that for a good couple of months, is something that's still even insane to think about. One of the points that I brought up there were the bot issues, and I've had some comments when I discussed the bots and how maybe Veve had sorted that in some sense, that we currently haven't got a drop such as a Disney drop that was really big, some massive drop that was happening that a lot of people were going for, because the bots would therefore be attracted to that and therefore do stuff in their power to actually get these drops. So I don't think we've had a drop just like that right now, so we can't truly understand whether or not they've been dealt with in the right way, or if it's still continuing to happen at a bigger scale. We're just maybe not seeing it in the same sense. Until that happens, we probably won't have that data to understand that a little bit further, but as of right now anyway, it seems like a lot more common users are getting these drops. It's on my Twitter feeds constantly after every single drop. I'm seeing tons of people get them, which in essence is sort of what Veve was about in the beginning. It wanted to make collectors in the digital world. It wanted to bring the biggest licenses into this space and allow people to collect and actually enjoy what they love to do, and this is exactly what's happening. So as of right now, it seems like the target market are those either core users or those who are just really enjoying collecting what they love, because as of right now, we don't really have anything else we can do with them other than having them in AR and doing our vault up. But again, that doesn't work too great for everyone, and therefore they might be waiting for the web application for them to actually participate in what the vault can do. I know I'm something like that because my phone can't run putting the collectibles in my vault, but I'm sure my PC will be able to do just that. So right now, maybe a couple weeks ago or so, we're seeing that the number of people who actually own collectibles and the total number of accounts that own at least one collectible is around 583,000 people. Now, if we take that for probably 2 or more, we're talking 176,000 people, and then if we're talking 10 or more, there's around 60,000 people who own more than that. So I would say that's most of the group probably going to be going for them. I'd say maybe on the higher end of the 2 or more, you're talking 5 or more that you're sort of looking at. So we are still looking at quite a small number of people who are truly going for these drops, and they might not even be going for these drops because we're talking about different time zones, we're talking about what people actually enjoy, we're talking about what people are wanting to do with their money, and there's a lot more factors when it comes to it. But when we look at the user base in these collectibles as a whole, it is interesting to see that that number is a lot lower than maybe a lot of us initially thought, and that again could be another reason as to maybe why the growth is slowing down. We've not really been having any massive or significant changes over the last few months that would sort of warrant massive growth again. In November, Disney came along, so massive growth sort of became the norm just purely because of how important Disney actually were as an IP to be able to get in this NFT format. But we've not seen anything like that really since. Yes, MTL was coming, KYC is coming, MCP is coming, OUP is coming, but none of them have actually came out yet. So we've never had anything that gives the true warrant of massive growth is going to happen at this point. So what I think we've been seeing over the last few months is a sort of steady decline of maybe active users, a steady decline of new users coming in and the old users sort of leaving because nothing might be happening for them in the short term. In this NFT space, again, we've talked about how quickly things actually move. So with Veve not moving at the same pace as a lot of other competitors or companies are moving on the outer sort of sphere of NFTs, then it could deter a lot of people to put their money elsewhere, to focus elsewhere until Veve have maybe got their stuff together. That's completely normal, and just like everyone, I feel you should be diversified anyway. So if you're not, probably think about that. Putting your money in different locations could be a good step forward to understand this market a little bit further, and maybe why certain things are happening in certain ways, as of right now anyway. Now back to the sort of main point at hand, what we're talking about today is, should this cause concern that the drops aren't selling out? Now for me, I really don't think this should, and I actually think it's a good thing that this is happening. One of the other core sort of areas when we're talking about NFTs in general, it relates to cryptocurrency. But as of right now, you can't actually spend cryptocurrency on getting anything on Veve. We're not on Immutable right now, and you have to put gems in from your bank account. You can't do it for your crypto wallet, you can't do it from anywhere like that. It has to be from your bank. So if you're charging $60 for something, that is still quite a lot when people are going for full sets. No, for me, I would be much more willing to spend money from my crypto wallet than I would from my actual bank, just purely because it seems easier to do it from my crypto stuff because I've got more liquidity in that area. I think for a lot of us are the same, and if we're really talking about the giant whales who are in the cryptocurrency space and have been spending on the likes of IMX and OpenSea themselves, then we know there's a lot of people looking to spend a lot of money from those places who are either early adopters in cryptocurrency as a whole, or they've just got a lot of liquidity to actually spend in this crypto market. So with this sort of addition, you can't spend that on Veve right now, and the sort of NFT market is related to cryptocurrency. So with that not being the case, it's actually challenging to get that further growth in this next stage of people who are already accepting of digital collectibles themselves. There's been a lot of backlash from people who are either physical collectors or also just in general collectors who do not like this NFT space, whether that be with a lack of education or a lack of understanding of what it actually is. It's anyone's guess. However, what I think is important, if we are looking for a large spark in growth, introducing the cryptocurrency market into Veve is probably going to be an area that will help do just that. Veve have said in the past, and I think I'm correct in saying this, that they wanted to be the Amazon or Walmart of NFTs. And we can kind of relay this to what they have, I know for a fact, have said that there's going to come a point where you're going to have to decide what to buy. And they want things in the market available for new users coming in. If you're coming into something for the first time, let's say you're coming into Veve for the first time ever, and you enjoy collecting digital collectibles, enjoy what it is, you're into this new space, and you just want to test it, you want to go in for the drops. So in the past, you just weren't able to get the drops at all. There were people coming in here with 20, 30 drops, never getting one of them. How many do you think would have actually stayed for the next time after they'd done that? Some people have a lot more patience than others, but if you're coming in here and you're not getting 30, 40 drops, I'm leaving myself and I'm not coming back. And it's probably the same for other people. So now that they have an opportunity to actually get these drops in a decent time frame, could really spark that interest of collecting. That's why I stayed in Veve the first time. I was able to get the drops. I was able to participate in what Veve was as a whole, and why I stayed for the full time, why I created this YouTube channel, and why I'm still talking about it today. I love collecting digitally now. I don't have to have boxes and boxes of stuff all in my room. I can just collect on my phone and have it there and enjoy what it is. So if Veve's plan was to always make it that you had to decide what drops you're going to go for, this is really good. This is moving in the direction that they're wanting to move it into. They want to increase the amount of drops that are happening. People can decide to pick and choose what they want to get, and potentially if new users are coming in and things don't sell out, they have the opportunity to get something at retail price. Now what I am hoping is in the future Veve maybe lower the prices of some things, especially after they're able to cut off the 30% fee Google and Apple are charging when it comes to the gems, but I am hoping that once they begin to get a little bit more revenue in their system, we could see some cheaper drops or things that are going to burn OMI or anything like that, additional stuff that will just help with the overall ecosystem of Veve. I know some of you are probably going to be upset with what I said there, with a little bit more money when it comes to what they have after so many things are selling out and have been for the last few months, but if we are really looking at business models in general, technology companies often tend to not make that much of a profit when it comes to it in the first few years, and with all the fees that Veve are charging licensors from companies, designers and so much more, I'm probably guessing that they're not actually making as much money as you think they are. You can actually be surprised if at some points they really aren't turning a profit. Now I could be completely wrong, and I do think in areas they definitely are making profits. Startups are not easy to do, especially when you're licensed with the biggest brands in the world. So it would be interesting to see a financial statement of what Veve are doing and how they're actually getting on in the reality of things. Again, I could be completely wrong with that. I have looked at technology companies. I have looked at it a little bit further in the terms of financial status when it comes to technology companies when they are first starting, and it often isn't great in the beginning until they really establish themselves for what they're doing. So what should we be thinking about moving forward then, as collectors, as investors and all that sort of stuff? Well, Veve right now are in this sort of weird space where nothing's came out, but they are saying they're working on stuff. So we've got all these things that are going to be coming with the MCP, OUP, KYC, MTL, all those sorts of stuff that should provide more of a trust within the company and what they're doing. Because obviously we've got the likes of Hero, Recur, and then you've got tons of projects on OpenSea, a lot more coming out, then obviously the trust might be going away because things haven't come out in the time that they've said it's going to. With MTL coming and the potential integration to Immutable, we could hopefully see some more things moving forward in this year. I'm still holding back with being excited about all these things coming because we have yet to see them. So until we actually see it properly and it's working for all users, then it's not actually a reality. So I'll hold them to what they've been saying about the end of Q2, end of Q3 with what they're maybe going for, and we'll see what actually happens then. But for me right now, I'm being quite picky on what I'm choosing to actually go for. If I really like the drop and I want to support the artist, by all means, I'm going to be doing that because I still really enjoy Veve, what they're actually moving forward with, and really do believe in their long-term success. But I am in other projects right now, and you can only be one person when it comes to this. So you have to do research in certain areas in order to be at the top of your game for those when you're trying to either flip, grow as an individual, and just learn more about this overall space. So I will admit that I haven't been spending as much time on Veve as of recently, purely because there's not really as much to talk about right now. This is not to say that it's a bad thing on Veve. Companies need time to actually grow and implement the things they're going to say. You can't just say it one day and then it should be out the next day and demand it, but they have had obviously time to do just that, and I'm waiting to see some of the results that they've said they're working on. If you're someone who was in Veve before and you're watching this video when you could never get a drop in the past, maybe it's the next time to give it a go, see what it is, and see if you enjoy the collecting experience of digitally collecting once again. I know for me, if I was coming in here and I was never getting any of the drops, I would be just like you and I would be quite upset by it. But obviously where there's money to be made, there's people looking to exploit that, and that's just the way the system sort of goes at the moment. I'm not saying it's a good thing whatsoever, and I know it should be handled, but I am just telling you that is the reality of the situation. There's a lot of people who take advantage of the likes of OpenSea and some of these projects with minting and smart contracts to actually exploit that and make a lot of money when it comes to it. And Veve are no different. All they can do is try to battle it the best that they can, and that's what they seem to be trying to do anyway as of right now. Also want to give a massive shout out to Matt Gedenk, who'd actually done the recent drops on Veve, who I believe done 2 airdrops for his drops over the last few days. It's just really amazing to see. All of us know that these IPs don't really need to do as much as individual artists to really make a standout sort of sound and noise in this space because they are biggest IPs in the world. But when it comes to these artists who are already successful in themselves but wanting to give back to those who enjoy what they're doing, is really an amazing thing to see. So Matt, if you ever happen to come by this, massive congratulations to everything you're doing, mate. I'm really enjoying the art that you're providing and look forward to seeing more if you do happen to work with Veve or out with it in the future. But I'd love to hear your thoughts right now on Veve. Are you concerned that things aren't selling out the way they used to? Or do you know this is a growing period for Veve as a company and you're excited to see what happens over the next quarter or two? Be sure to let me know down below. I know the video on the screen now will be something you'll love to watch. Have a fantastic day.